Hi, and welcome to another edition of the webinar series Starstruck, brought to you by HSBC India. I'm your host, S. Ramakrishnan. I'm the country head for wealth and personal banking for HSBC India. I've been told to introduce my guest, and I've got something in writing, but I want to actually share a personal story before even I get into that. 32 years back, I was in college, and we had this very interesting or very prestigious debating competition that was held in our college. And of course, we always thought we were the best and we would win it. And we were just waiting for that. And then along comes this man from this college, this boy, I would say, from this college, arch rival college, walks up on stage and starts talking. I kid you not, when he starts talking, the audience like gets into stunned silence. It's the voice. It's just the voice. And that voice became very famous years later. We'll come to that. But that voice went on, and the audience was spellbound. Needless to say, he won. But let me also tell you, there was content. It's not just the voice. So that voice and content was, I think, is what made the guy who he is today. So I'm going to introduce my friend from 32 years back and also a guest on the show. Let me introduce Roshan Abbas. Roshan, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, Ramki. It was lovely. You took me back to college, and just the other day I was doing a conversation with an organization called Under 25 about college, and I was like, my God, it seems like eons away. So if I wanted to be in a time capsule, you just took me there. So thank you.
Okay, but now I'm supposed to also tell you what the world knows about you.
Oh, please.
So and therefore this I'm going to read. Okay, it says, let me tell you about our guest today. He's an RJ slash TV anchor slash actor slash theater actor slash film director slash producer slash writer slash lyricist slash author slash MC slash event manager slash digital marketer slash entrepreneur slash investor slash evangelist, etc., etc., etc. Slasher, basically. I think that's what we can call you. We can call you a slasher. So seriously, batao, boss, aap ho kya? What is all this? Who is the real Roshan Abbas? Tell me now.
Good question, yeah. I mean, the slashes just seem to increase. So I used to always turn and say that I'm a serial slasher, right? So, but more than that, I'm just I'm deeply curious, Ramki, and I try to put that curiosity to good use. I try to find. I think as a performer, I keep looking for bigger stages, and as an entrepreneur, I keep looking for bigger challenges. So that's the reason why. So I think the curious learning and this thing of trying to fill that gap, which I discover, and if I discover a gap in anything, I'm like, okay, what does one do? How does one problem solve? So I'm all of those things. I'm an eternal problem solver and curious. So I end up, like the other day, I picked up something new. So I stood for an election and I won it. And my wife turned and said, you remember that film Coolie? Like, yeah, वो गाना याद है सारी दुनिया का बोझ हम उठाते. And I started laughing and I said, it's true, but it's not boਝ all the time. Sometimes it's a lot of fun. It's things that you really enjoy doing. So that's it.
I just want to say, but the next line about that song is not true. कि लोग आते हैं, लोग जाते हैं, हम यहीं खड़े रहते हैं. That's not true because you're also moving all the time. So that is true. But tell me something, on all these roles that you said, how do you decide what to play when? And for example, when you move on from one role to another, do you sort of leave the other one behind? Do you take it with you? Are you these 10 roles all wrapped into one at one point in time? Boss, I can barely do one role of a banker. Okay, I can't think of how I'll do many. So how do you do this, and how do you decide this? What's the trigger?
So I as I said, that what happens is that I think in each of the roles that I fulfill, I set myself a goal. For example, when I did radio, being able to speak to a city and be the voice of the city was exciting. But when I had, when India Today featured something that we had done, and we'd done something crazy, which was that, a reporter came to the studio, and while she was there, a suicide caller called. I managed to handle that and, saved the day. And somewhere in my head, I said, okay, ab ho gaya. I don't have a bigger point left to prove. So while you can always take me back, and it's like cycling, it comes back to you. Things don't change much. I think the principles don't change much. And then I start looking for a bigger stage. So I think I put that away as a key that could open a lock someday. But its current value is, okay, let's put it now. Ab jeb mein dalo, agli chabi dhondo. Find the next one, go to the next one. So I keep doing that. And I do think that I keep placing these goals. Like, when I did television, there was this thing of saying, I used to remember Phil Donahue and Oprah Winfrey, and In India, I was like, okay, chat shows were not big. And I was like, if I ever get to do a great chat show, I think I can retire. And then I got Jeena Isi Ka Naam Hai, and after Farooq Saab, I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I just personally couldn't think of a bigger show to do. And I was like, okay, done. So I don't have a desire to do television that way anymore. Film, as I said, is a desire I still want to do, because it's something I dabbled with, but I still believe that there was a lot more to learn. So I'm still on that journey. So I think I put a completion certificate देता हूँ कि हो गया. Now move on.
So obviously your keychain is a very heavy keychain. The number of keys that are there, I can see that. Okay, before I proceed, and this is just a message to all the audience viewers there. We have a question tab below in the screen. So if you have any questions to ask Roshan, please go ahead and ask us questions, and I'll just pose them to Roshan on your behalf. There's also a chat box, which allows you to just chat amongst yourselves and share your love for Roshan and share your love for us also as you do that. But put your questions in the questions box, because I'd love to, pose that to Roshan. Okay, so Roshan, this was something which I picked up from you very recently. This is a quote that I just loved. You said, "I'm a man made for the pandemic." And that kind of intrigued me, okay? All of us are struggling in the pandemic. You seem to be having a blast, okay? So explain that to me, please clarify. How does a common man like us enjoy the pandemic? You seem to be enjoying that.
Yeah, so Ramki, as you know, we all have grown up with a lot of things that we read. And when I was growing up as a kid, I used to read a lot of Amar Chitra Katha. So Amar Chitra Katha used to say that, the first 25 years is brahmacharya. Yeah. And the next 25 is going to be grahastha. And the next, right, is going to be vriddha, and then there will be sannyas. So I'm on the brink of 50. And for me, I was constantly thinking that, see, social distancing is one thing, and mentally distancing yourself from many things, I think is that jump. And I think personally I was getting there. In my head, I was like, okay, if tomorrow the world was to end, who are the people I'd want by my side, or who are the last couple of phone calls I'd want to make? So I think I was already crossing that line in my head. And the minute the pandemic started, my first call was to call my parents and speak to my, Shaheen's family, other relatives, friends, Gaurav, Ankur, all of these guys, take care of the teams. And then slowly I started feeling that, life can actually be, there's such little that you could make do within life. So I think one of the big lessons was that we have become a society that copiously consumes things. And I think we waste a lot. So I think these realizations came. I used to keep wallowing between gratefulness and guilt. So one day I'd be very grateful, saying, oh my God, I've got a roof over my head, I've got money in the bank, I've got a great family, I've got a job. And the next day I would see the people who didn't have a lot of that and yearn to try and help, and then feel extremely guilty, and and that used to happen. But when this screen, so see, for a person who's a communicator, there is always a stage, and that stage could be a radio, that stage could be the stage of a theater, that could be a television screen, that could be a movie screen. And my dear friend Kausar Munir, who you know, Kausar actually, when we were trying to do a charity fundraise for artists during the pandemic, she came up with this line which she said, "Ke stage badlega," and she says, "Ke ye naya stage hai." And I took to that like a fish to water, saying, okay, if this is the new stage, what are the rules of engagement of the stage? How does one communicate? Now, here, I might be addressing, I don't know how many people right now, but my mind is constantly working on saying, how do I create interactivity? How do I create intimacy? Because this is the currency of the screen. If you can create either of those. Then my next point was, okay, people are using Zoom, but what are the deep and I'm a geek, so how can I make sound better? How can I do a seamless switch? I did a play, and in the first month, I
actually wanted to ask you about that, but I'm glad you talked about it. You should tell us about it, because I was amazed that you could do a play on Zoom.
And that's what happened, that I kept trying to tell people, saying, if you put away the boundaries that you seem to impose on yourself, I said, don't start with this premise of ye nahi ho sakta. Start with the premise of ye kyun nahi ho sakta. Why can you not do it? What's required? And then bring in people. And my network of friends, of associates, of collaborators, I call, and you know how I coalesce all these things, but commune is a virtual circle of people you can work with. And that's what it was. So I would pick up the phone on somebody saying, do you know how to do Zoom better? Do you know how to design graphics for this? How do you bring this app into it? So I found finding my new vocation on this virtual screen very easy, and being able to, in my head, somewhere accept the fact that we at some stage in our life need to choose the relationships we want to invest in. So I thought that at a spiritual level, I thought that I had reached a point where I said, yeah, I just want a very few bunch of relationships. I want to check in on a bunch of my friends. I want to learn a lot. I want to read a lot. And possibly, if I can, I try to help a lot. And that's what I would do. And in the day, I could find my vocation through this. And I was doing workshops and I was doing podcasting. And I mean, that's why I said that I took to this like a fish to water. And it was Shaheen, my wife, who had to pull me back and say, listen, hello, you can't dive into this at 6 a.m. and emerge at midnight. So then I started taking up a couple of breaks and stuff. But you know me, I dive headlong and then I'm like, bus, keep going deep.
Absolutely. So, but good that you're keeping yourself busy. And this is actually a question I'd saved for later. But since you talked about this, the fact that you dive deeper, you're also one of those few people who's created a career out of his passion. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm the head of the business here, but banking is not my passion. Okay, it's a job and I do it with a lot of passion, but it's not my passion. A lot of people here are watching, and youngsters as well. So your advice on how do you make your passion into a career? Is it really feasible for all? I know you do it extremely well.
No, so see, as I said, very early in life, I realized that creating content and communicating and engaging were the vocations of my trade. I was good at all of these. Yeah. Now the important thing is, I in fact ran a workshop 2 weeks back, Ramki, where I told people saying how to make money from your passion. And I did a workshop because I wanted to prove to people that you have to see what happens is, we are the generation that had to genuinely put in a lot more effort. And I always give this example, saying close to my house in Lucknow, maybe a kilometer away, was a library called Amiruddollah Library. Now, we had lots of books at home, but occasionally my father and mother would encourage me to go to that library. I would have to climb up 2 floors, meet the crusty old librarian, go find a ladder because some books were inaccessible, climb that ladder, dust-covered books, badly indexed, and then find the book that I wanted, and I would treasure that book. Today, everything is indexed and available to you on a search. But the problem is nobody searches deep, right? Yeah. I mean, when you go to Google and you search, do you ever go beyond the first page of search? So I keep telling people that randomly go to page 10, randomly go to page 20, because you will find something that is not available on the other pages. So that's the first thing about going deep. So I tell people saying, what you do. So I've discovered sites like Fiverr and Freelancer. And I tell people saying, what you do, go there and see, is your passion already someone's profession? So when you go to that site, like I was telling people, somebody said, I love to sketch, but how do I make money? So you go to Freelancer or Fiverr and you will realize that from sketching someone's book to making cards, to making design manuals, to illustrating, proper digests, etc., they are all vocations. But look, dhoondte nahi. So I think it was just important to firstly say, yes, I have a passion. Yes, I'm good at it. Now, who will pay me for it? And then it's very important to find the right value, because many people do their passion for free. I don't. I choose to do it for free. But I know the value. And that value I will regularly try to extract, and I will spend hours finding out what the value is. When I acted in Aladdin, my passion was I wanted to do a Broadway musical. But I was there for 3 months learning how a musical is put together of that scale. And I was curious. I would go and ask the production manager, ye kaise hua, ye kaise hua, ye. I'm like a child. But I also store that information. And I store it and I keep it away so that I can extract its proper value. So I'm saying, don't just use your passion as an indulgence that satisfies you, because at some point in time, it will always have to be balanced against something else. And that's when you will try to measure it against real value. Yeah, if I spend 2 hours working this job I could earn, then can your passion pay you a percentage of it or whatever?
Correct.
So I think it's very commercializing your art. And many people in the art world are like, you're too commercial sometimes. Choose not to be commercial, but you must know your value.
You must know that. No, I'm actually doubly impressed because, like you said, look for someone who's been able to commercialize their passion and then learn from them, right? But what I'm saying is, back days when we were in college, I don't know of anybody else who would use as a guide to say this guy is following his passion. So you were almost kind of an entrepreneur even in that manner, so which is quite impressive. I'll come back to more questions. I'm just again opening up to audience in case you've got questions. Please continue sending in, and I'll come back. Okay. So Roshan, go back to the earlier point that you talked about the voice. You were called the voice. I remember that, and I know girls used to swoon all over you in college. Or I don't know whether I'm supposed to say all that here if Shaheen is watching, but that's the truth, right? That's the truth. So you got into radio, and there's some very interesting anecdotes. I've heard you share them with me, very funny ones as well. But anything that you'd like to share about your experience being a radio jockey? It was a really new thing back then.
No. So I keep telling people, so how do I explain it to kids under 25? I say, FM was the MTV and YouTube of our generation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it democratized our voice. Every generation finds some medium which democratizes its voice. FM was that for us. So when I came out, because I used to debate, because I used to write, because I used to host shows, as I said again, content and engagement were the currency I used to deal with. One day sitting in Delhi in a Barsati in Safdarjung Enclave, with I promise you my last 50 rupees, I put on the radio and I heard someone in Bombay who was talking about jazz music. And, it was one of those very clipped English accents. And, the next this track is by so-and-so. And, and I heard it and I said, yaar, he's talking down. Ye gyan baat raha hai. And, gyan baatna pasand nahi aata. And every generation hates it. Like my son, sometimes when I'm trying to give him gyan, it's like, listen, stop giving me, gyan. So, now I've started doing it, but at that point, I reacted to that man giving gyan. I said, why can't he just make it fun? Why can't he make the song exciting? Why can't he tell me that maybe he romanced someone on the song, or the guy who created this track? He should have a deep story rather than telling me it's quartet so-and-so performed in so-and-so, typical Akashvani types. So I took my YesD bike and I reached All India Radio, and there were these big iron gates outside. And again, I keep telling people, like even when the pandemic started, I said, listen, this is like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You're entering a new galaxy. Step one, don't panic. Don't panic. Sit on the sidewalk. I actually sat on the sidewalk out in front of All India Radio, just observed ho kya raha hai. So मैं ये बहुत करता हूँ. I keep observing, saying what's going on. And I saw that next to this gate, there was a gatekeeper. And this gatekeeper was telling people, saying, chale jao, and whatever, no use, blah, blah. Tum kaam, kisse appointment hai. So I kept waiting. Finally, this guy went for a cup of tea. And I always tell this to people. So, if you chai coffee offer kare, na mat kiya karo. Because you've suddenly given yourself 10 minutes of conversation time. And if you don't want to talk to the person, don't take the tea, run away. But so I was with this person, and I said, I was having chai. So, bhaiya chai lenge? Haan, lenge. Ab usne chai le liya. Now he owes me that 10 minutes, right? And I asked him all my curious boy questions. ये FM यहाँ पर ही होता है? अरे हाँ बहुत यहीं पर ही होता है. How people come here, and I'm translating it maybe for our audience. But like he gave me a blueprint of how to get into radio in 10 minutes. Very often, the source of knowledge for something which seems extremely unattainable lies with not the biggest, but perhaps the lowest of people in that place. So treat those people with a little bit of respect, treat them with a little bit of curiosity, treat them as, I don't know, you do, and you will learn. You do this in a hospital also. Don't try to find a doctor, talk to the guy who's the ward boy, right? When you go to a police station, don't try to catch the DCP. Catch the local guy and see it. You will find, they will be delighted that you made that relationship. So I made this relationship with this guy. And he made me a pass, the coveted pass that people used to make phone calls for, bring letters of sifarish. He made the pass for me and gave it to me and told me who to go and meet. And I went inside and I walked in, and I mean, this is where it could have all gone wrong. But the assistant station director of All India Radio at that time, Ravi Narula, who in fact unfortunately passed away earlier this year. But that man was sitting there, and I walked in and I said, sir, my name is Roshan Abbas. I've come from mass communication. You also teach at Masscom. So again, I quickly established a link. And he was like, yes. And I was like, sir, I love FM. It's given a voice to our generation. But some of the programming, I just made a face. And he turned to me and he said, it isn't good, no? So I said, okay, he believes it. I said, yes, sir. So tum kya karoge? Now, when somebody throws, I also tell this, many creators are dreamers, but with no plans. And which is why they remain dreamers. Mere na, Ramki, I have plans. I have like plans ready. Ke, just like Reliance sometimes has a equity thing ready and come release karna hai, I have a plan ready. And that plan was, I was like, I'll do this show and I'll do this and that. And he just kept laughing because I was so enthusiastic. And very often, sometimes you may not have the perfect plan, but if you have the right amount of passion to balance the plan, people give it to you. And that happened. So I got a show in 2 days. This was Friday. He said, can you do a show day after? I said, yeah. He told me the slot. It was 10 to 11 in the morning. He said, what will the show be called? I thought about it. It will be called 10 se 11. He said, I'm giving you a slot 10 to 11. You're going to call your show 10 se 11. I said, yeah, but I've got a reason. So what? I said, 10 new songs, 1 old song. Again, he started laughing. And we went and actually did that. And that show, I also say that when you deliver something, make as much effort as you can. I could have just gone and played 10 songs and talked about the songs. I went to shopkeepers who sold T-series cassettes in those days. I went to the Panwala where people used to talk about music. And I made those into small audio clippings on a Walkman. And that's what became Public Demand.
Yeah.
So,
that's
right, because Public Demand was a vox pop show on the streets of India talking to people. And that's what happened. So I'm saying people need to understand that, as I said, passion hai, plan hai, perfection ki taraf ja sakte ho. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I try my best. I mean, not that I succeed all the time, but that's it. And then it was amazing. The show got over. The station director called me. I said, chalo yaar, blaze of glory. He's going to sack me. And he actually called me and he said, Roshan, that, he said, after Amin Sayani, and Amin Sayani, Bhagwan hum sab ke liye, for radio, for anybody who's been on radio, he said, you have the gift. You can connect. He said, never lose that. And I try to continue with that.
In fact, Roshan, the first question that's coming from an audience, it's interesting. I won't read out the question, but I want to tell, this is a question by Harshita Nandigram. And before I read out the question, I'll tell you that, Roshan, while you'll answer this, you have actually just answered this in your previous question in the manner in which you answered it. So the question is, can you please share with us how to be an effective storyteller? And the reason I'm saying this is, I just heard a story, Harshita. Okay, I just heard a story. I'm sure Roshan can do this a lot better when he explains this. But I visualized that guy sitting on the sidewalk, giving a cup of chai and making that pass. That's, to me, is effective storyteller. But Roshan, you're the boss in this.
No.
How can you be an effective storyteller?
So number one, great stories. I keep saying that in everyone's life, there are at least 5 stories worth telling. And mostly these stories follow what is called the circle of what we call the hero's journey. But don't get into something as complicated. Go, take 10 minutes by yourself and say, what are 5 moments in my life that I remember? And what emotion do you associate them with, right? So I often tell people saying, write down, take the pandemic, and right now, Harshita, if this is what you want to do, look at any point in your life and see what is a deep emotion associated with it. And the minute you find a deep emotion on the railway track of life, go into every bogie, go into every bit, and you will find that there'll be some things which have a deep emotion attached. That already is going to be your best story. Now, in narrating it, a story has a beginning, middle, and end. So here, there was a goal I wanted to get into radio. There was an obstacle, which was the gate and the gatekeeper, right? And the magic wand was the cup of tea. And the big lesson was that the biggest doors sometimes do not have the biggest gatekeepers. The smallest people hold the key to it, right? So the magic key lay with that guy. So that is classic storytelling. Now, in this layer, I added everything from accents to visualization, the big gate, the man and his accent, the Ravi Narula sitting on his desk, and the little pause. Now, these are all the ped ke upar jo, the foliage. So the foliage is everything. It's the accent, it's the colors, it's the smell, it's the visual storytelling that you can do. But the ped must be strong. It must be solid. So I keep telling people that learn. So Sheena Khalid, who's a good friend of ours and a theatre person, and I asked, and in her workshop, she said something the other day which really got me. She says, when do you know you heard a great story? And I was like, because you're emotionally invested. She says, no. She says, it changes you. Something inside you changes. You will always associate that. So if you really want to look at an incident, so incidents are also small stories. छोटी सी चीज है. I met Ramki and I sang a song. It was wonderful. Whatever. It's actually a story, but it doesn't stay because nothing changed. But if in that we discovered our childhood, we discovered college, we remembered the stupid animosity between colleges and how it gets over with just a beer and laugh, then you're saying, yeah, all college relationships are like that. So that's what I'm saying. So those are just simple things, Harshita. If I can plug something, I spent a lot of time writing a book called Speechless. Please buy it. It's got a lot of this.
I've read it. It's good, and I've been to one of his classes as well on how to do a storytelling session. And believe me, he's good. So please go for it. Okay, I've got another question, which again you seem to have answered in some manner. This is from Neha Ramesh. How are you able to stay truly passionate to everything, even during this difficult time?
So Neha, this is actually. If I have also been able to divest my smaller passions from my bigger passions. So the passion that I discovered again this time was podcasting and problem solving. So my podcast is called So What Do We Do Now? It was, how do we solve this issue? How do we solve music performances during the pandemic? How do we solve travel? How do we solve weddings? How do we solve whatever? And it was, the curiosity was natural. The medium was exciting because I'd done radio and not podcasting. And I said, no, I need to learn this. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So again, at the moment, I am passionate about that. Now I'm a filmmaker. Am I spending 24 hours on the film passion? No, that has taken a backseat. I'm a television host or an anchor. I am hosting during the lockdown. The day I anchor during the lockdown is a professional thing. I have the entire process of investing. But again, Shaheen sometimes gives me a lot of answers for things. And she says, do you realize how blessed you are that you get constant validation? My passion gives me a lot of validation. When you go to the bank and you transact and you take money, do you hug the other person and say, you changed my life? No, you don't. Right? And that's why Ramki is not passionate about that. But when Ramki sings, and sometimes when he tells some amazing stories, and I remember his stories, they impact you. And that is why it's something, because he sees the other person's eyes light up. So I'm just blessed, Neha, that a lot of what I do lights up other people's eyes. It gives me that validation. And I think as performers, we search. I keep saying this. I said, हम लोग appreciation or applause के भूखे होते हैं. वो मिल जाता है, then you're happy. As long as you get appreciation and you get applause, right? I mean, you can live off that. Then sometimes you need some money in the bank. But as a performer, it's a big drug.
Great, Roshan. Okay, I've got a very interesting question, but I'm going to put it on hold. There's a question from Anisha. So Anisha, if you're there, your question I'm going to ask. But before that, Roshan, I want to have a little bit of fun. Behind your back, we did a little bit of stalking of Roshan Abbas. Picked up a few photographs, okay? But unfortunately for us, it's all social media, so you're probably aware of it. So I'm going to share a few photographs and I want you to tell me something about that photograph. Can we have the first photograph, please? Okay. Can you see this, Roshan? The first one? Such an interesting one. What is this?
So I was in London and we always stay at this beautiful hotel, which is just off Oxford Street. And it used to be the Doubletree Hilton at one point. Courthouse, it's called the Courthouse. And, I didn't realize that day was actually Pride Day and there was the Pride Parade happening. And when I stepped out of the hotel, I mean, in the same collection, I think there were 50 other pictures because there were the craziest of people. And I just loved the fact. So see, I can't be this because I deep in my heart, I'm still the Lucknow boy. I'm a little conservative, and conservative not from I wouldn't dress up in a particular manner, but I just loved how comfortable these people were. So I went around taking pictures with all of them, and they were so inclusive. They were so giving. They were so honest, and I love the fact that people can honestly be them. देखो लखनऊ में जब आते थे ना, and I guess we all have this little tinge of something. So that tinge was that. I always tell, again, I'm sorry, keep bringing in Shaheen, but when I married Shaheen was a Bombay girl, and and I would have I was a Lucknow boy and this was a Bombay girl, and there would be a lot of differences in us in terms of our personalities. And one day I had to explain my personality. And I said, the Lucknow person is the person who might be feeling cold in a room, but will not tell you to switch off the fan. They will tell you, आज हवा थोड़ी तेज चल रही, directly नहीं बोलते हैं. तो ऐसे direct लोगों को देख के ना मुझे थोड़ा सा I just feel a tinge of oh my God, I couldn't be that free, and that's why I love this. So that's why I took this picture.
No, no, and incidentally, last month, the month of June was the Pride month, and actually HSBC is a big supporter of the Pride community, and I personally am an ally, and how we call it within the bank. So I'm glad to see this photograph. Okay, the next one. Can I see that? We've got some 3 or 4 very quick ones. Let's see the next one. This I love. This I just love. Go on, Roshan.
Hi.
Maybe
So this
maybe
is
you can, maybe instead of telling us about this, maybe you should sing something from here.
okay. So I'll. So
Can
guys,
you?
this is yeah. Of
Sure.
course I can. So this
Go
is
on.
me playing Jafar in Aladdin, and I'm going to sing you 4 lines, and I'm going to tell you something really fun. You have the profile of a prince, with a physique that matches. Beneath the dirt and patches, you are a diamond in the rough. So this was the character I was playing, and it's a fabulous song. Under the wind and I'm forgetting the lyrics now. Shit, I'll be killed by my
Super.
director.
I watched it. I watched it, and you were brilliant in that. And I'm so happy that actually you went back to theater after years, because the last time I saw you in theater, I'm sure you would have done a lot in between. But again, 30 years back in college, I remember My Fair Lady, Professor Higgins, and that was the
Fine.
first time I saw somebody live acting, singing, and dancing. And that's Roshan Abbas for you. All right.
No, that
Next
was
one.
crazy. This was really amazing. Oh, so this is me.
Who's posing with whom? Sorry, who's posing with whom in this?
So Darth Vader and me at the Star Wars convention. So I'm not a Star Wars geek. I'm a Star Wars lover. My son at this time was a Star Wars geek. So I took Arsalan, and when we took a train, and Ramki, this was not in the heart of London. This was some back or beyond. But this is the same thing that I said, listen, he wants to go there. So I got onto 3 different trains, took him, dropped him inside, spent 5 hours, came back and picked him up, because I also wanted him to be on his own. So the bonus was that when I was outside, I mean, imagine a train full of Darth Vaders and Leia Organas and Luke Skywalkers. It just felt, I love the fact that people can indulge in their passions in this manner. And this is London, and London is one of our favorite cities. So.
Okay, I've got the next one for you, which is your favorite position as of now.
Oh, this is me at 11 a.m. most mornings, guys. I used to be. I wish they had a picture which I could show you. That in 10 years ago, I was 96 kilos, and I was on the verge of a physical breakdown. Shaheen used to keep telling me, my mother would keep telling me, and I won't react. So essentially, I suddenly decided. And again, I want to tell you guys that on the 23rd or 24th of December, there was a Christmas party happening at Maria Goretti's house, and I had booked an appointment the next day to go and do a liposuction. And suddenly, and I was, because I tried everything, and I'm not losing weight. And my father actually that day told me, saying that, you've set your mind to so many things in life. I've seen you come from where you were to where you are. And if you set your mind to it, you lose your weight. Don't do this. And he quoted a bunch of instances of things he had read. And I said, if my doing this impacts my father so much that he has written an email, and my father's emails are normally one line: well done, congratulations, thank you, goodbye. So itni lambi email dekhe, I said, this is a matter that has really impacted him. So I swore to myself that I would do this the natural way. And in 9 months, I had lost 21 kilos.
I know.
And now I do this. So this is me. Yeah. So like now I'm currently at 81. So my 75 was my lowest. Now I'm at 81. And I was 86 at the beginning, by the way, of the pandemic. And now I've lost 5 kilos during the pandemic, because I was like, no, I need to get back to some form. And Shaheen again really pushed me, got me into this new SoFit thing. But that's me. But when I'm sitting like this, I'm like, Q.
Okay, so Roshan, the next one is not something that you have seen. It's not from your Facebook profile or anything else.
I remember this.
Do you remember this?
Of course. So when we
I am embarrassed, but please go on.
No, so see, guys, when we do conventions, very often people tell me that, okay, in event management, what do you do? And I keep telling people that, see, at event management, very often we are play acting. We are suspending belief and trying to be what we are not for a day or for 2 days. And you must own it entirely. So this was an evening party where we were meant to be like blingsters. So you're like, okay.
Black and bling.
Black and bling was the theme. And so we said, and our team had got these beautiful things to wear. And, that was the joy that, we put this on. And then, Ramki's rapped. I mean, what is Ramki saying that, this picture, he's been on stage and rapping and, we make him do weird things, sometimes making him play character from Lagan, sometimes he's doing Sholay, sometimes. But, again, I say this, own what you do 100% or don't do it. So we were also doing this. Rosha did this as well, remember?
I know.
Yeah. And that's
Great.
the joy. So I think, and I love this about HSBC when we do these conventions, and I've been doing conventions with them for over 10 year. But what a joy, what madness have we done?
And that's why we want to introduce this segment. We call it Down Memory Lane. And actually, we have lots more, but in the interest of time, I have to move to this question from Anisha. And actually, Anisha, I wish you had asked that question before the show. I have to help me. So Anisha says, Roshan, we have seen you interview so many people as part of the Spoken Fest and otherwise. I have two questions. Today, when the roles are reversed and you are not in the interviewer's seat, what is the one question that you have asked as an interviewer that you wish no one asks you? Question one. So what is the one question you wish no one asks you? Second, who is the one person you have enjoyed interviewing the most and why?
Brilliant question, by the way.
Brilliant,
absolutely
right?
Brilliant. And it's got me thinking, which means that it's a great question for one. So the first part is that, I often ask people about the regrets that they have in life. And then, and I'm always scared that am I crossing a boundary? Like I remember when I had Supriya Pathak and I had, Shahid Kapoor and I had Pankaj Kapoor. Now it's a different relationship, right? I mean, when I saw them, I wanted to ask them about saying, do you regret everybody coming together earlier? And then I feel extremely bad about these questions because I think I'm intruding, and I'm not that kind of. I am not the Arnab, variety or the other variety, and it works for some people, but I'm not that. So that's the one thing. So I sometimes, nobody asks me about regrets very often, and so that's one question. Now don't ask me.
I won't ask you.
And the second part that she said is somebody I have had interviewing people. I still believe that interviewing, and I'll take two names, Amitabh and SRK both. When you interview people who are their game is like beyond, boss. They can spin circles around the interviewer. So if you have managed to break through that layer, then it's an incredible feeling.
I agree. Questions coming in thick and fast. This is from Jagrati. She says, firstly, hi Roshan. Heartiest congratulations on becoming the president of EMA. So clearly, people are aware of that. Your appointment comes at a very critical juncture when MICE events, brand activation have hit the end of the road because of the pandemic. How do you plan to navigate this journey and get that industry back on track? Very intelligent question.
So I actually told people saying that, when I took this role on, I took it on because I felt that you needed somebody who could understand both digital and physical and help navigate both worlds. Also, this is a crying need for our industry to be heard in the places that matter. And we represent our industry very wrongly. We often try and talk about ourselves as entertainers. No. We make the most basic thing that human beings need happen, which is we bring people together. We bring nations together, we bring people together, whether it is in the guise of a social event, a corporate event, a sports event, a religious event. And people must understand that there is we are the fabric that ties together the tapestry of this nation. And now that's when, if you say that, rather than say, I'm entertainer, because that doesn't fly. The government very often looks at what we do as, we have to pay sometimes a sin tax. No, we are not. We provide employment to millions of people. And I actually stood up, Ramki, for that reason. I had no intention of standing. And then I said, it's a really tough time. And you need somebody who can be an inclusive leader. The Event Management Association was going through just a little bit of, I think, a little bit of soul searching, saying, are we a professional body? Are we a body that is meant to, navigate the corridors of power? We have brilliant members, and we just need somebody who brings them together. My style of leading is very inclusive. I listen, then I assimilate, I come up with a roadmap, and then I let the best person do the job. I do not want to be at the forefront of every job. And I think that's what we need, a more professionally run organization, and that's what I intend to do.
Perfect. I'm going to move to some fun part, rapid fire. We got about 5 more minutes. I'm going to use that. Rapid fire, quick answers.
Okay.
All right, Roshan. What would your autobiography be called?
Skating on Thin Ice, Pink Floyd song, by the way.
Skating on Thin Ice. Of course. All heard that during our college days. Okay, what are you currently watching on OTT?
Billions. I love Billions.
Nice.
Love.
Okay, this is an interesting one. If you have an unlimited storage of any one thing, what would that be?
Plays. I adore the theatre.
You're essentially a theater guy. I can see that.
Ha.
Okay, your favorite app?
My favorite app, Twitter, because I really feel that I get a lot of information. I'm a bit of information junkie, and it lets me deep dive into other things. I wish I could get into Reddit like my son, but I'm not able to navigate it too well.
I know you travel a lot, and I recently saw a post about you still wanting to do your vacation with your family this year. I saw that. So, favorite holiday destination?
I think London, because it's a great mix. We have some family, we have a lot of friends, and again, there's great theatre, great food. I like a cosmopolitan city because I'm able to enjoy the flavor of many places in one. And I find New York as well as London extremely amazing. But if you really want deep down inside, I even enjoy going to Lucknow and just chilling with my friends and having the good kebabs, etc.
Okay. Now, next one is my own personal. I'm going to put you on the spot with this. Best experience of conducting events with HSBC. One event, one experience. You've done a lot with us.
I still think it's the South Africa experience where it rained, right?
I know. And you know what you did on the stage, right? When it rained?
For 2 hours, we was just singing, man. It was crazy. And again, that's the joy. The joy is that see, I know I've done fabulous events. I mean, I remember when we did the 5-city interlink via satellite, which no one had done, in the early days when Nena was there. It was a huge idea. And pulling it off at that time when people didn't, now we can link up many places, but we were not able to do it then. And it was just incredible. And so that might have been an achievement, but the crisis we managed on that one show, to me, is a huge achievement.
I agree. I agree. And I was there, I saw it. And I have to thank you for pulling the show together at that time. Okay. First thing that comes to your mind when I say the following words. Social distancing.
Love.
Indian sanskars.
Too many, too claustrophobic.
Innovation.
Life.
Family.
Heart.
And the last I can't ignore, banking.
Investing with the right people.
Investing right. Great. All right. So I'm going to just end with one last question, Roshan, to you. You kept talking about being curious, right? So what next? Where is your curiosity taking you next? What's your next new venture? You're itching to do something else. I know you're always itching to do something. So what next?
So I think right now, frankly, this challenge of the event industry is really because my conscience is wedded to it. I have to deliver. And that is why I've taken that and I put time on my diary and I'm doing all of that. My creative curiosity is somewhere I feel that there is still no place to bring creators together. So after Commune and Spoken, I was planning another festival and I still am. And I've really discovered the joy of building communities and expressing that in beautiful festivals. And I think we've done it right. So there are many more festivals to do. I was going to do 2 more this year. I don't think they'll happen in 2020, but 21 for sure.
But I can tell you personally, Roshan, you know me, I've been to all your fests, all Spoken fests. I think such talent and so professionally done. It's always been a pleasure going to any of those events that you host. It's been a pleasure going to your storytelling sessions. And it's just been a pleasure knowing you as a person, as a friend, as a colleague. I won't call it an entertainer, but although you entertain. and as a partner to HSBC in all the stuff that we've done. So thanks once again for coming on this. Truly starstruck. It's been a real honor. I know you and me are friends. It's very tough for me to say it's been an honor, but it's the truth.
Please, when you say it, I get uncomfortable saying, Rabki can't be asking me this. So
really, it still rankles me that you won that debate and didn't let our college win. Sorry. वो मैं कभी नहीं भूलूंगा.
होता है.
All right. So with that, thank you very much once again, Roshan, and thanks for everyone who tuned in. Do keep watching this place. Tune in next week. We have another edition of Starstruck coming in. Another star coming in next week. So thank you so much. Please stay safe, stay smiling. Bye.
Thank you.